Good afternoon and welcome to Medellin for the weekly report from InterBolsa for August the 28th. In the markets, it's been a very quiet week. The cold cap's really gone nowhere. The test market's been very quiet as well. We've only had a couple of basis points of move, and the only real mover was the peso, which is going to be closing the week at 2041. Marginally weaker, but not very much really. In the test market, we had the final official auction of the year, the bi-weekly auction, but obviously the market's still very nervous because it doesn't know how much extra tests will be issued in the rest of the year by the government as pre-funding for 2010. Big news this week, while we're waiting for the central bank to make their decision, we shouldn't have any change from the 4.5%. Very unlikely. There'll be some look at the commentary, but I imagine commentary will be pretty similar to how it has been. Future rate cuts will be data dependent, etc., etc. Ongoing at the moment is UNISO meeting down in Argentina, and that's been quite eventful. Uribe obviously put the case that the US bases are necessary effectively because other countries in the region have not helped. That's been a fairly strong rebuttal from Chavez and Correa as expected. It's all politics, everyone's siding as expected. We'll have a fuller report on that next week. But as it goes at the moment, it looks like there'll be nothing conclusive coming out of the meeting, although there has been some relatively stern words. On the macro side, it's been very quiet. We had some June hotel data, nothing particularly new there. Revenues are down, occupation levels are down, but no surprises there. Other news, domestically, politics has become a mess again. Tuesday we're due to have the referendum vote in Congress, or the lower house. It didn't happen. It was delayed. It was delayed to Wednesday, then it was delayed again, and now the vote will take place on Tuesday. So we're still waiting and seeing on the referendum. It just goes on, and time gets shorter and shorter. But Uribe, he's got the support. The Conservative Party have cancelled their pre-election or the pre-candidate selection process for the time being to support him, and he looks like he will have the votes, and from there it'll be on to the final referendum and down to the populace to make their decision. On the micro front, looking at the companies, Bancolombia we downgraded from a buy to a hold as we move to a 2010 price target of 20,580. On Isagen, we'll have the next meeting of ministers on August the 31st to decide the next stage in the process. This comes amid reports that the workers themselves have put together the money to buy the company, that EPM are trying to buy the company, and obviously we expect overseas interest as well. Ecopetrol and Rubiales announced one of their exploration wells has come up with hydrocarbons, no details, but obviously a positive development for those guys. ESA had a negative development, although not down to them so much. S&P downgraded their debt from BBB minus to BB plus, which is below investment grade, but this is part of they've basically remodeled all the government-owned companies around the world, and that's the consequence. In other news, it's been a mixed bag of news. Corporate bond, Avianca and Promigas had very successful issuances this week. That means we've had 39 corporate issuances this year at an average of 1.95 times oversubscribed, and there's plenty more to come. That makes $5 billion year to date. That's equal to 2007 and 2008 combined. Other news, El Dorado, the redevelopment of the airport, has been put on hold for the time being. They caused complete chaos in the skies of Colombia, so we'll have to wait and see. That's not the best news at all. In Bogota, talking about infrastructure, the metro is finally going to get underway. 2011 will see the start of the project. The stage one is going to cost approximately $1.9 billion. The government will cover about 80% of that. Anglo Gold had some good news from the Environmental Ministry this week. The La Colosa, they will be allowed to explore it. They're going to be able to develop the site. Remember, this is the biggest gold find reportedly in the last 10 years on the face of the planet. We'll have to see. They're going to be treading on eggshells in terms of our environment, and they will be watched very carefully to make sure they don't upset the ecological balance in the area. Foreign direct investment. Zuluaga had his words to say earlier in the week. He expects the total for 2009 to be at $9 billion as opposed to $10.5 billion we saw in 2008. That would be a good result versus what most analysts are expecting for this year, and if Isagen is sold to a foreigner as opposed to a local entity, we should be pretty much flat year on year, which would be a tremendous result. Finally, Moody's had their latest update on Colombia. They're leaving us at BA1, which is one notch below investment grade. No imminent plans to change that. They're slightly concerned about the fiscal situation. In particular, they're concerned about Venezuela, Ecuador, and the overdependence on those countries. Notwithstanding, they did praise the country for the way they've come through the financial crisis and the general improvements we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years. That is really it from Medellin. We'll bid you all a good weekend. I know the guys in the UK have a long holiday, so have a good long weekend in the UK, and I'll see everyone else on Monday.